Welcome to Thunder Bay Live. I'm here at the Renaissance Cafe. I'm here with Don Rusnak, Thunder Bay, Rainy River Member of Parliament, Federal Member of Parliament. Don, first of all, a pleasure to have you on the
Thank you,
show,
sir.
and congratulations. You
Appreciate
ran
it
a
also.
wonderful campaign. What's it feel like after the night of the election? What did it feel like when you found out, hey, I won, I'm actually the candidate?
I was actually doing interviews when they announced it officially on the screen, so I didn't want to count my chickens before they hatched, but it was a pretty amazing feeling. We were confident throughout the campaign that we had the right message, and what we were hearing at the doors were that people really were responsive to that message, right? So we were pretty confident.
And how's the campaign on you, sort of emotionally, physically, psychologically? How did you feel during those months of campaigning?
You know what? It was. People say that it was the longest campaign in a generation, and that it was. It must have been grueling, but most of my team was brand new. I'd never been involved in a campaign before, so it was a campaign, right? It was. We didn't know anything else, so yeah, it felt comfortable. Perhaps the longer campaign helped me out with a relatively unknown name, although my family's been here for generations, and I was born and raised here, and had a lot of connections in the community. So I wasn't a big public name because I hadn't been involved municipally, I hadn't been involved provincially. I wasn't really a politically involved guy, right? I of course had my law practice here, and I was asked by friends that were part of the Liberal Party, and jumped in with both feet. So.
And now that you're there, what are you thinking now? What's going through your mind as a new candidate?
Well, that there's an incredible amount of work to do, that we need to get everything set up in terms of the constituency office here. Hopefully I'll get John's constituency files from him, because I know there's a lot of people here that had issues and problems. So if we can get those files from John's office, that would be great. Then we wouldn't have to start from scratch on people's files. Getting all the stuff done in Ottawa that needs to be done, staff, and just getting the familiarity with House procedure and rules. I was part of government in Manitoba, advisor, and I'd been to the legislature several times in Winnipeg, so I know how government works. It's a provincial system, so a little bit different than the federal, but a lot of the things are the same, right? So I have a little bit of a head start, but talked to Bob Nault a couple hours ago, and we're going to have a Northern Caucus conference call tonight with our 7 Northern members from Ontario. 7 Northern members from Northern Ontario, and 7 out of the 10. So it's pretty exciting. I think great things are going to happen here in Northwestern Ontario and Northern Ontario, and we're going to start talking about them tonight. So.
And I understand also that on the election day, you had a tragic event that took place, and on election day, some personal event took place.
Yeah. Well, on Thursday, but the week before the election, my uncle passed away. So it was my mother's youngest brother. He's 51 years old, and had a medical issue. It was rapid, and passed away that day. So it was an emotional time. I went with my brother to the hospital and to the family's place after. So it was tough. And then the funeral was scheduled on election day, which was somewhat surprising for me. But my team was great. They worked hard. I didn't do anything but spend time with family on election day, and I invited my whole family, a lot of whom came in from out of town, to the party later on. So we had an emotional downer, but a celebration of my uncle's life, who perhaps was shining down on me later on in the evening at the party. So we had a good time after. So and I addressed that there.
Well, Don, the fact that you spent time with the family on an occasion like that says a lot about you and your character. So that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. Now, Don, I want to ask you about Trudeau and being part of that team and being part of that majority. What are you thinking? What's going through your mind for Thunder Bay? Saying, hey, this is good, this is fantastic.
I think it's very good for Thunder Bay, and I think it's very good for Canada. We've had a government that's been so closed to the Canadian public, and I think Justin Trudeau's message of positivity and actually doing things that are good for Canada resonated with the Canadian public, and I think the voices are gonna be heard, and what needs to be done is gonna get done. People in the region have been shut out for too long, and that time is over. So yeah, it's going to be exciting.
And being First Nations Aboriginal, what does that say about the Liberals? What does it say about the country? What does that say about Thunder Bay?
I've had this question a lot, and I'm not only First Nations. My mom's Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, and my dad's Ukrainian, and grew up with both parts of the culture, and it just says something about Thunder Bay and the multiculturalism that is here. Like back in my dad's day of growing up, there was Italians, Ukrainians, Slovaks, all growing up in the East End, right? So there was already a multiculturalism there that I've struggled with it a bit, right? To say, oh, you're the first Aboriginal candidate ever in the history of the riding. What does it mean? What does it mean? Should it mean anything? Well, it's 2015, right? So there's all kinds of people from all over the world here in Canada, and that's what makes us great, right? The strength, not because of or not despite our diversity, but because of our diversity, right? So repeating what Trudeau said throughout the campaign, that I think it feels really good for me, and I hope it feels really good for First Nation people, because I've worked with First Nations people in my past, and I understand a lot of the issues and a lot of the negative things, and hopefully I can be someone that they trust in government to do what they want to get done. So
I was thinking Bannock and pierogies. Is that a good combination?
Well, were you at our campaign opening? We had Bannock and pierogies and cabbage rolls, and fish, so walleye. So yeah, it was quite the celebration.
Don, I won't take any more of your time. I just appreciate the fact that you came down here to be on Thunder Bay Live. I want to wish you the best success, and as a city councilor, I look forward to working with you, and I know you're going to do a great job for our city and our region. Always a pleasure having wonderful people like yourself here. Thunder Bay Live from the Renaissance Cafe, interviewing Don Rusnak, Thunder Bay, Rainy River, Member of Parliament. I think you smile every time I say that. Take care, have a good night, and Don, you have a good time too.
Thanks a lot, Aldo. I appreciate it.
Always a pleasure having you here.